A common process in colour correction is to blur the selection that we've made. In Mistika we do that by using an external blur and connecting it to the colour corrector. So let's just start by making our selection. So let's just select the skin tones. So having roughly got our selection, we enable the export key function. What that does is it converts our selection into an alpha channel, which we can see here. It also exposes this alpha channel to other processes on the timeline. So if we go back to the timeline and add a blur, the blur is receiving both the images from the colour corrector but also that alpha channel of the selection that we made. Now naturally if we add in an amount of blur, it's blurring the whole frame. To tell the blur only to pay attention to the area in the alpha channel, we have two items. We can either say just blur inside the alpha channel, or we could have the value of the alpha channel drive the blur. So in other words, the stronger that alpha channel, the more blurred that particular part of the image will be. So I'll choose that one. So now what we can see is that our blur is happening only on our selection. So we can now use this to blur those skin tones as we would like. One thing we should note about the level of the alpha channel when we export a key in this way is if we again look at the alpha channel and a scope, we can see that the output is very low, because rather than being a true alpha channel of the selection where our selection would translate as a white pixel, rather it's giving us a true value of the selection. So if we've selected a dark colour, we'll get a dark alpha channel as a result. Now in the case of blurring our selection, it doesn't really matter, because we can just turn up the value of the blur in order to compensate. However, if we were really using this alpha channel to try and composite, then we might come into some problems. Now we'll have a whole set of tutorials on compositing, but just to jump ahead a little bit, if we ever did come against this problem, there's a reasonably quick fix, which is under the effects there's something called channels, which we'll have a proper tutorial on another time. But just to be quick, the effects name channels relates to the fact that it works with the 4 input channels, red, green, blue and alpha. So in our particular scenario we're interested in alpha, and there's a scale, so we can just turn it up to make a fully opaque alpha channel if we wanted to use it for compositing.